And I would just try my best. I feel like, okay, I guess I got to do a little more, love a little harder. I got to be a little more patient. I kept trying to, I'm looking at myself different, trying to figure him out and how I can get him to be consistent with his love for me. And so, in that sense, I felt like I needed him, because to be without him would mean that, okay, must mean I'm unworthy of his care. I'm unworthy of his quote unquote whole love. I'm unworthy of being consistently and fully loved. I'm unworthy. And so now I have to sit with someone that left me. I didn't want to have to sit with that, you know? I didn't want to have to sit with the fact that it didn't work out, that someone never changed for me, that I did all this for nothing. I didn't want to sit in that discomfort. And I think sometimes we are afraid of that discomfort of what would happen when it ends. And so we feel like we need them because we need you to act right so we don't have to end this and feel uncomfortable. And so it keeps you in that cycle.
Excuse me, can I please talk to you for a minute?
Hey, girlfriends. Welcome back to the Hey Girlfriend podcast. I'm your host, Kindall D. For all my coaching books, my Toxic Ex Chronicles book, which I'm releasing the second part, and there's a third part too that I ain't tell y'all about because I'm trying to just work on it. But yeah, I'm working on the second part. I'm getting that one done. So my Toxic Ex Chronicles book that everyone really likes. I got a journal to help you get over him. I got a quote book, and I'm planning on doing more quote books because I really like that also. So I got some things I'm working on. So go to avernetgirl.net, check out the books I already have out, check out my socials, my coaching, all that. So let's get into today's episode of You Don't Really Need Him Like You Think You Do. And as I say that, I'm like, not saying that I don't want to say hypocrite, but I've been that girl. Yeah, basically I've been that girl. But I'm going to tell you that I thought I needed my ex, like needed him. Not really John, but I'm talking about Sebastian, the second one I'm working on the second book, but he was introduced in the first one. Y'all know Sebastian if you read it. But I am like, I've been that girl to where I felt like that I could not be without that man. And even though he was mistreating me, I still felt like I needed him. And I'm going to tell you why you feel that way. And I'm going to tell you why you don't need him like you think you do. And maybe this can help you to come out of that relationship. You know, give you a little strength. So the only reason why you probably feel like you need him, like you think you do, you need him. Let me start over. The only reason why you feel like you need him is because he's probably very inconsistent and he is breadcrumbing you. So when someone is inconsistent, that leaves you excited and waiting for more. That leaves you like you're sitting there and you're waiting for the dopamine hit, so to speak. You're waiting for that and you're excited about that and you're longing for that. So you feel like that's love. You feel like that since I'm sitting here and I'm so anxious and I'm excited and I want this, and then he does something nice and you're like, oh my gosh, you know, it makes you feel like you need it because you're waiting for it. So you feel like you need that. And not only that, you may also feel like you need them because they fulfill some type of void. And voids fulfillment is not true fulfillment because it's just filling one small spot or a few small spots, but not really filling you up fully. And those voids can be maybe you just needed some attention. You just never felt wanted. You never felt desired. You never felt loved. And then the list can go on. You can think about the void you feel and what you've missed and what you really want. And so when someone comes along giving you a little attention, of course you're going to be like, you know, infatuated with them, wanting them, feeling good about them, feel like you can't just be without them, feel like, you know, you start feeling all these feelings that you never felt before. And you know how you say, I never felt like this before? That's because you really have never felt like that before. You may have never had anyone really give you any attention. You may have never had anyone really act like they like you. You may have never had anyone tell you nice things about you. So that's why love bombing can have such an effect on you, because you have never had anyone do those things for you. And so when it happens to you, it becomes hard to tell what's true and what's fake. And it's your naivety. Did I say that right? It's your naiveness. I put it that way. It's your naiveness that is basically causing you to fall for the love bombing, to fall for the breadcrumbing, to fall for someone like that, because I may you not be aware of those voids. And like I said, someone that comes along and starts filling those little holes in, whether it's true or not, how they feel, it feels good to you because you've never felt it before. And so for that, I want you to stop for a moment and forgive yourself for that if you feel yourself falling for that. I hate how they try to paint women like us and say, oh, just choose better, or it's your fault that you tolerated that and all of that. No, it's not. It's not totally your fault that you tolerated it. Someone manipulated you and made you feel like that. Someone manipulated you and made you feel like that you were the best thing since sliced bread, and that they just had to have you, that they were going to treat you right. Someone love bombed you. So no, it's not your fault that you were manipulated. It's not your fault that you tolerated it. And I hate that they say stuff like that. And that's why I do what I do, because I'm like, it's not totally true. Like, there are some things within us that cause us to fall for that. And sometimes we don't learn better until we have to. We don't learn better until we get hurt bad enough and we realize that this hurts so much, there got to be a better way. That's the only way that I learned. You know, it makes you feel like you need a person so much because they have the one or two or three things, whatever it is. They have just a few things that you've always looked for and wanted and needed. And so here they come providing it. Whether it's, little breadcrumbs they're sprinkling out, or they're inconsistent with it and they're in and out with it, regardless of how it happens. That's what makes you fall for it. That's what makes you feel like you love them so much. Of course, we don't want to love someone that treats us bad. Of course, we don't want to love someone that mistreats us, and someone that is inconsistent, and someone that hurts us sometimes and is good to us sometimes. We don't want to love people like that. We don't want to feel like that. We don't want to be in that. We don't want to tolerate that. But we think that we have to get that little bit that they're sprinkling out. And so that's why I'm here to say that you don't need him like you think you do. He is making you feel like you need him. And sometimes he will even come in and create the need and create that space for you so that you can feel like you have to receive more and that you need him. Sometimes you can be doing all right for yourself, be feeling great about yourself, having a good life, happy, and you're single. He comes along sprinkling out the breadcrumbs that you don't realize are breadcrumbs because he's been so nice to you. And then bam, he pulls it away. And that confuses you. And either you don't speak up about it, or either you just wait around, or either you just don't know what to do with it. And it makes you maybe want to fill in the gap and start loving a little harder, or waiting around a little longer because you want that back. And so you find yourself stuck in it because he's created this need. Inconsistency is what's keeping you attracted to them. Inconsistency is what's keeping you feel like you have a need for them. Like, I'm going to tell you something, y'all. I used to long for my ex. It wasn't just me missing him. And I'm talking about Sebastian. Because I know if y'all read John, I didn't really long for him. I was just in that shit because I thought I had to be, and I didn't know how to break up with someone. I was there, I felt like default. But anyway, let me get back to what I was saying. I felt like I needed him. I would long for him. Because it's like he came in like a whirlwind, turned my little world upside down, inside out. Because here this man is that's so highly attractive, that's tall, just got it going on. No one like that has ever paid me attention. And there he go, filling those little voids. I never had a high school sweetheart, no one to like me, no guy like that to ever look my way. And here he comes, like in little old me. So yeah. And then when he became inconsistent, in and out, back and forth, up and down, emotional roller coaster, I felt like I needed him. I longed for him because I longed for the consistency. I longed for the whole loaf instead of the breadcrumbs. And so I felt like I just needed him because maybe a part of me did. I'm going to go ahead and say that maybe a part of us feel like we do need them because we actually do have unmet needs that should have been met in our adolescence and childhood and growing up. And so we do have a lot of unmet needs. And so, yeah, we do need those few little things they provide, but we got to understand that we don't have to need it from them. We need to fulfill it ourselves and find a way to do that. And sometimes we don't understand how to do that or that that's important for us to do because we just want somebody else to do it for us because we didn't have the people that we're supposed to depend on and our caregivers to do it for us. So since we didn't have that, we don't know how to do it for ourselves. And we still want somebody else to do it because that we feel like that will solidify that we are lovable and that we are beautiful and that we are a good person and that we are worthy. You know, we feel like that outside love and validation is going to give us what we've always wanted and needed. And it can, but that's not all we need. We need someone with all the things, healthy all around, not just someone that can sprinkle little breadcrumbs. But those breadcrumbs sound, taste really good when you're hungry and starving for those things you never gotten. And so I had to forgive myself for that. I didn't call myself stupid or dumb for falling for him or longing for him or needing him like I thought I did. I did not fault myself for that. As I started developing and growing and changing and healing from that and doing that process, I realized that a girl like me and what I've been through and how I had all those unmet needs, why wouldn't I do that? Why wouldn't I feel like that? And so I grew from that. And I promise you don't need them like you think you do. Anyone that is inconsistent with their care and love for you, you don't need. You really need you. And it's hard to find it in yourself, It's hard to develop that in yourself because someone was supposed to help you with that in your adolescence and in you growing up. It's hard to provide that and be that for yourself now. But you can, slowly for surely. And it just took me getting my heart broke by a man I thought I needed so deeply and so badly. It took me getting myself broken down like that to realize that this ain't it. This is hurting me. This is bad. I felt so broken. I got so low after my relationship with Sebastian. So low. And I still loved him through all of that. But I started coming out of it and realizing that, his kind of love is not the love that I need. Like, where he's been at, his childhood, his upbringing, he's been through a lot. He can't be what I need. It's not if he wanted to, he would. If he could, he would. He cannot, And so in needing someone like you think you do like that, you got to realize that what they're giving you is just breadcrumbs. They're sprinkling it. It's not enough. It's just a void filler. You need more than a void filler, girlfriend. You need more than that. And so it's really you that you need like that. And to let go of someone like that you feel like you need, is you have to let go of the idea that they can fulfill you, that there's going to be a whole loaf. You have to let go of the idea that things can be different, that you just have to let go of the idea that that's whole and that it can be consistent and it can be more. I know you want it to be more so bad so that you can get those needs that they were giving you and the voice they were fulfilling, and it can just be them and you don't want to have to try again with love. But that will never be enough. And then in return for that not being enough for you, you're going to feel like you're not enough. You're going to feel like that you're unworthy. You're going to feel like that there's something wrong with you. That, how can someone just come along and give me a little bit and stop and keep going in and out? And how can someone treat me so good one day and the next day they don't? It makes you feel like that you're doing something wrong. And then it makes you feel like that you need them to basically validate you again, to make you feel like that you are worthy of love, and that worthy to be loved. And so that's what keeps us in that cycle with someone. Because I can remember like being with my ex, and just basically he would come around, I would be so happy, of course, and he would do like nice things every now and then that made me feel good about us. And then next thing you know, he would pull it back and just change and just be totally different. He could never be consistent. And then he would sometimes try to find a way to blame me. And I would just try my best. I feel like, okay, I guess I got to do a little more, love a little harder. I got to be a little more patient. I'm looking at myself different, trying to figure him out and how I can get him to be consistent with his love for me. And so in that sense, I felt like I needed him, because to be without him would mean that, okay, must mean I'm unworthy of his care. I'm unworthy of his quote unquote whole love. I'm unworthy of being consistently and fully loved. I'm unworthy. And so now I have to sit with someone that left me. I didn't want to have to sit with that, I didn't want to have to sit with the fact that it didn't work out, that someone never changed for me, that I did all this for nothing. I didn't want to sit in that discomfort. And I think sometimes we are afraid of that discomfort of what will happen when it ends. And so we feel like we need them because we need you to act right, so we don't have to end this and feel uncomfortable. And so it keeps you in that cycle. So you see how many ways that you can feel like you need someone, but you really don't? It's like they come in and they create the need. You already have the unmet needs that they start breadcrumbing and dropping little crumbs in. Think about like some little holes and they're dropping a few crumbs in there for you. Or thinking about that they love bomb you, whatever they do to manipulate you in the beginning. And so that's the need. And then they start creating more need, because it's like now you're stuck with them. You're in the cycle. You need them to show up for you so you don't feel alone. So that you don't feel crazy that you tried with someone. So that you don't feel uncomfortable with yourself. And so I know it's hard to let go of all that. And I'm not even here to tell you, to let go or when you should. I'm just here to tell you that I promise you don't need them like you think you do. You don't. If that person is hurting you half the time and just nice that you the other half sometimes, but it's not consistent. If someone is just not consistent with their care, if someone doesn't make you feel safe mentally, physically, if someone doesn't just make you feel good, if someone is not just consistent with the love and care for you, and you feel like it's just here and there, and it's not enough, you don't need that. And you may think that you will not be better without it, and that you're better with it, but think about how you won't have to, stress yourself out and have all this anxiety about this relationship. Think about how you won't have to feel those feelings anymore. Feel that anxiousness and that anxiety, and feel those tears on your pillow at night as you're crying over something they did and they don't care about how they hurt you. Think about how you don't have to feel that anymore. Like, you think because, there's a little something there, that's enough, or that's, or you settle for that. But you don't need him like you think you do. You just don't. I'm telling you, you don't. There is a better world out there for you. And it may not seem like it's better because it's unknown. And anytime I feel like something is unknown, it's scary. If you are not used to being on your own or being alone, or you've been with someone for so long, for years, and so to go without them, it's scary. So that's why I say I'm not going to be the one to tell you to leave. You may know you need to, but maybe you're just building it up and you don't know how and when. So you're building it up. You're trying to maybe wean yourself off of them. But I'm telling you, your world can get so much better without that dead weight. That your world can get so much better without someone just breadcrumbing you. Your world can get so much better without someone that's inconsistent. And your world can get better with just you alone in it. I want you to know that you just creating a life for you, doing all the things that you've wanted to do, doing all the things that you've dreamed of doing. Just you really developing yourself can be a better life, can be happier. I mean, you can create a happy life for you too. You don't need him for that. Like, you can start falling in love with yourself. You can start filling your voids. You can start dealing with your loneliness. You can sit with those feelings you feel, all those unmet needs. It's gonna hurt, either way. It can hurt with them, or you can hurt alone and start processing it and actually work to get better. Because with someone else that is, only fulfilling part-time of what you need, and it's never getting better, it's just getting worse or staying the same, just up, down, worse, bad, or good sometimes. You can either stay with that up and down mess, or you can come sit with yourself and all of those feelings of loneliness, of things that you never got, the attention you never got, all those things. You can sit with it, process it, and find ways for you to fill those gaps and for you to fill those voids. And you're only sitting with the discomfort for a little time, and then you're slowly building yourself up, and you're becoming stronger, and you're healing. And now you know how to fulfill those voids. You don't need nobody else to. Now what you need in your life, you're going to need a man that comes full. A man that can give it all, not just fill the voids. A man that is emotionally healthy, makes you feel safe. A man that's consistent. Now you're going to want it all, because you've raised your level of self-esteem. You've fulfilled those voids. You don't need someone just to put breadcrumbs in those voids, You need more than that now. So as you start to work on yourself, take that time to yourself to really work on you and build you up, you'll realize that what I need has changed. I don't need someone just for those little small things. I don't need someone just to take away the loneliness. I don't need someone just for those things. I need someone that can come with the whole thing. And your life just changes when you level up and you start to decenter men. And decentering men doesn't necessarily mean that you don't want a man. It just means that you're not going to make them the center of your damn universe. You're not going to depend on them for things that you can provide for yourself. They can just only add to it. And so that's what I started doing. And yes, I have healed a whole lot more in my healthy relationship. That was something that I didn't know I needed. So it wasn't something that I was looking for. It's just something that I fell into because it was healthy. And in this space, I now had a chance to kind of like shed my skin. I had a chance to relax, to rest, and to actually do more of the work. That's what I say. And so you need someone that is full, that can be the full package. Someone with like think about a structure, someone that's strong, with a strong foundation, someone that's coming in and ready to be all of what you need. That's what you need. And the way that you will feel like that you can get that and you deserve that and that you need that is by fulfilling those voids on your own. I know you're not the one that caused those wounds. I know you're not the one that could cause those voids. I know you're not the one that inflicted those pains on you. But unfortunately, sadly, I'm sorry to say, you're going to have to be the one that fixes it, that fulfills the holes. You can't depend on nobody else to do it, because somebody else can probably only half-ass do it, or it's not going to be enough. Either way. And now you're with them out of need for having your voids met, and not for someone that can just come along and add into your life. And so just along with that, that's going to cause you to have more of a toxic kind of love, because it's codependency. It's not you solely having someone come in and add to your life. It's someone just adding to the voids, to the small pieces of you, and not the whole totality of who you are. And so in order for someone to add to the totality of who you are, you have to know who you are and to build yourself up. And so it's time for you to sit with those voids, girlfriend. It's time for you to take a deep look at your voids and what you feel. And realize that you don't need them like you think you do. You just maybe got some anxious attachment issues and some codependency issues, some childhood issues. You don't need them like you think you do. He ain't really all that like you think he is. What makes him all that to you is because he have a few of those little qualities that you need right now. You need someone that's charismatic to make you feel like good about yourself. You need someone that can give you a little attention and talk to you on the phone every now and then because you never got attention. You need someone to see you every now and then. And, if it's inconsistent, that's what you're accepting because at least it's something. And not only that, you're probably used to receiving inconsistent love because you were probably breadcrumbed by your parents first. And so since you were breadcrumbed by them and their love for you was inconsistent and not unconditional, so that means anyone else that comes along doing that, just throwing breadcrumbs into those voids, you feel like that's love and that's something, okay, yep, I just got to prove myself. I got to earn this love or just enough, hey, I never felt like this before. I never had these feelings before. I never had someone pay attention to me before, so I'll take it. It's inconsistent, but hell, that's what my parents said. You think that's right. You think that's love. That's all you've ever gotten, so you think that someone doing it is normal. It may hurt you. You may not like it, but it's something you've been conditioned to believe that that's just how it is. And it don't have to be that way. You don't need them like you think you do. I'm telling you, you don't. You don't need someone like that. You don't. You need you. You need it. You probably really needed your caregivers to be there for you and care about you and fulfill those unmet needs. But now it's too late for that. Sometimes you may be able to go back and have a better relationship with your parents or caregivers, whoever was there sometimes. But now that you're an adult, you're responsible for yourself. You're responsible for those voids. You're responsible for figuring them out and seeing how you can be that person for yourself first. And then anyone else can come along, it's just adding to it. And so once you start to realize that you don't need him like you think you do, you'll slowly start to let go. Or if you have let go, you'll start to heal from that idea. And in my journal is actually Getting Over Him and Back to You, but it's in my I'veBeenThatGirl.net. In that, I got a lot of thought-provoking questions that I feel can really help you to get back to you and to discover why you settle for someone like him and how you don't have to again, because you're just getting back to you or rediscovering a new you. And I feel like those questions are very thought-provoking. A lot of those questions are some things that I talk about with my girls in coaching, actually, sometimes. I start asking them questions to get them to, think about what they've been doing, to start processing their feelings instead of just maybe skating past their feelings or suppressing them. And so it's a lot of things that can help you start thinking and to find ways that you can fill those voids, because you can. I'm here to tell you, yes, you can. There is a whole life out there waiting for you to just live. Like, there are so many different ways that you can fulfill yourself. Life can be so fulfilling if you just give it a shot. Life can fulfill those voids. Like, you creating a life for yourself can fulfill those voids. You working towards something can fulfill the void. You maybe volunteering in your neighborhood, that can give you the attention you've been looking for. Because it's like you now have belonging. You now have someone to relate to. You now have that attention from people that actually genuinely like you because y'all relate on certain things. There are other ways to get that meet. There are other ways to fulfill yourself. You can get a sense of fulfillment in the work you do, a sense of fulfillment in how you upkeep yourself and your self-care. You can get fulfillment in so many different ways. Life is meant to be discovered. I want you to be curious about all the ways that you can fulfill yourself, all the things in life that you have yet to discover and live. And I want you to be like, let the world be your oyster, like they say. And I want you to start looking for different ways besides a man, a relationship, that you can find those things. I found fulfillment in traveling. Right after I broke up with Sebastian, I found fulfillment in traveling with my friends. And I remember, like, right before I was going on that trip, I mentioned it to my ex at the time, Sebastian. We were slowly coming out of the relationship. I was slowly breaking up with him and trying to move on. And he told me that, no, I can't go. And I'm like, all the shit you've done to me, we're barely together. You cheat on me. You've hurt me. You've done all these things to me. How dare you tell me I can't go? And I almost listened to him because there I am trying to find fulfillment in him. I think men like that want you to only find fulfillment in them. They have their own trauma as well, where they've never felt needed or loved, and so they need you to be at their feet groping and longing for them. They want you to only find fulfillment in them, because there you go outside of them and start living a life, finding fulfillment in life. They start to feel insecure because they don't have that hold on you anymore. They're afraid of losing you. They have abandonment wounds, and so there I go out and travel and find fulfillment in life, and probably realize that he ain't really all that like I thought he was, and I don't need him like I thought I did. And so that right there alone, I was like, I'm going, and I went. And by the time I went on the trip, because it was months between that time, by the time I went on the trip, we had broken up. And I remember I went, and I was just got my whole life. I'm like, all this time, I've been just relying on a man to make me feel happy, to make me feel good about myself. And this right here, I went to the beach for the first time. I felt so good and alive. And I remember looking at my pictures, and I'm like, I'm just like the happiest I ever looked. And I remember that time my sister, she was dating someone, and and my sister was like, he said, look at your pictures, and said, you just look different. He said, you just look real happy, like you glowing. And I was like, it's like my face looked different. I wasn't so stressed out and thinking about how this relationship is so bad. So I was like delighted to be in that trip, and that was the first step to me finding fulfillment outside of a man. And after that trip, I'm like, there's a whole world for me. There's a whole world out here. What am I doing? Like, and that was just the first step of the healing process. And so for you, money can be tight. I understand not everybody can travel and go somewhere. But it can be something small. It can be something that you've always wanted to do. Like someone I was coaching, she said she've always wanted to go to certain concerts, like rap concerts and stuff. Nobody in her friend group ever really liked the rap music that she liked. And so she said, you know what, I'm going to start going on my own. And she would make friends there, and she started going on her own and enjoying herself. That right there is also fulfillment. And so those little tiny steps can get you back to you, because you are developing a life for yourself now. You're realizing that you can do it. You're realizing that there is fulfillment outside of that. You may have not ever thought that. You may have thought that that's all you needed because of the voids. Those voids you feel is going to make you feel like that's all you need. It's just a little bit of attention from a man, some love. You need all of that because you never got that. And so since you never had that from a parent, you are looking for another parental figure. You may not realize that you are, but you are trying to fulfill those unmet needs that you had as a child. And so that's why you feel like you need this man so much. Because in a sense you do. In a sense you do. But I want you to realize that you can get those needs met elsewhere. And the needs met elsewhere outside of a person or a man is so much damn more fulfilling. It actually is fulfilling. It actually fills you up. Not just pacifies it for a minute or for a bit with a little bread, It actually fulfills it all the way up. When it comes from inside of you and from you just living your damn life, it fills you up and keeps you filled up. Even when you go through them valleys and when you're feeling low and life is life, and you can slowly climb out of it because you're finding something in life, finding other things to pull you out of it, and you become okay. So, you don't need him like you think you do. I'm telling you, you don't. It's a mind fuck. It is. And I get it. I'm never going to judge a woman for hanging on to a man like that. I get it. But if he mistreating you, doing you dirty, hurting you, you don't need him. If he's inconsistent in any way, you don't need him like you think you do. It's okay to, develop a healthy relationship with a man and have a husband, and now you need you need them there because that's your family. That's different. That's a different type of need. That's a need that is someone is filling you in totality. Like I said, it's like fully. It's not just meeting a few unmet needs, So that's different. I don't want to get it twisted. There's nothing wrong with needing a good husband and needing him by your side and a good man or whoever you date. There's nothing wrong with needing that and having that. But you got to stop looking for someone to fulfill those voids. Sometimes we don't even know we have the voids. So I want you to stop and think about it. What are my unmet needs that I needed as a child? Whether it's attention, emotional support, love. Sometimes some of us never really heard "I love you" from our parents growing up and caregivers. Sometimes we never got validation, just only criticism. And so think about all the things that you really needed and were sad you couldn't get. Think about how you can find it in life and how you can feel it. It starts with first you just living your life. You just doing something you always wanted to do. That's the start. And then you will build on it because if you realize this feels great. Like life can feel great outside of a man. Let me do a little more. And then you start discovering yourself more, building yourself up more and more. And you realize, I never needed him like I thought I did. And it's a great feeling. I'm telling you. You can do it. You can. I have faith in you. Well, that is all I got for this podcast episode, girlfriends. I hope this helped you to realize you don't need him like you think you do. And once again, you can check out I'veBeenThatGirl.net for everything, books, social, newsletter. I haven't done a newsletter, but when I drop new books and stuff, I'll put it in a newsletter and send it in an email. So join that. Everything's in that. I'veBeenThatGirl.net. Just check it out. Look around. Everything you want is there. Books, coaching, all that good stuff. So that's all I got for this podcast episode, girlfriends. Until the next one. Peace out.